New York Mets. This was a team played pretty well last year. I would say beat expectations. I can't remember exactly what their over-under for wins was, but made the playoffs, made a little bit of a run. We're looking at pickups for the New York Mets, and holy cow, a lot of minor league contracts. Griffin Canning, awful pickup. That guy shouldn't be pitching in the MLB. Juan Soto, 15-year contract. Hated New York so much, decided to stay. Clay Holmes, another guy that came over from the Yankees. Frankie Montas, who we just realized, I think a week ago, he's going to miss some time with an abdominal strain or something like that. Genesis Cabrera, minor league contract, but that's a name I recognize. And then we go to some of the losses. Let's see. Adam Ottavino, he gave them some pretty quality innings. Jose Quintana, JD Martinez, Jose Iglesias, Luis Severino went to the A's, surprisingly enough. Harrison Bader, love that man. He's no longer a Met. And acquired Jose Siri from the Rays in a trade. So not too bad there. Is there anything I missed, Seth?
Just some guys they're keeping around, not losses or gains. It's just guys that were free agents and they kept around. And I think that's really the story of their offseason outside of Juan Soto.
Alonso, back in the blue and orange. I don't know who thought that was going to happen. I was convinced he was going to be a Blue Jay. I was ready to be back in on the Blue Jays if he would have signed with them. But he stays at the Big Apple. Starting lineup, we have Francisco Lindor, leadoff. I would say no surprise, but maybe kind of a surprise with the signing of Juan Soto, who will be batting second. Pete Alonso, third. Brandon Nimmo, fourth. Mark Vientos, fifth. Jesse Winker, sixth, who is scheduled to platoon with Starling Marte. If we get a left-handed pitcher in there. Francisco Alvarez, Jeff McNeil. Jose Siri bringing up the end of that lineup. Pretty good 9-hole batter to have, I would say. Seth. The Mets, they go get Juan Soto. They bring back it feels like they bring back the band for another go at it. Pete Alonso, as who I'm referencing there. This team could win. They could win the National League East.
They're my number 2 pick in the National League.
I think they're mine too. It might be my number 1. I don't know yet, but keep going.
I don't think you can make him your number 1.
That's the Braves. We talked about the Braves. I don't know. I like a lot of what the Mets are doing, but go ahead.
The Mets and Steve Cohen, man. The new George Steinbrenner.
Yeah.
The guy is made of money and doesn't give 2 craps about anything except buying players. And he did a good job of it. I think it'll be funny. Like their lineup from front to back, it looks good. I don't know what their depth looks like on the bench, but their lineup from front to back looks good. I wouldn't say there's a massive hole anywhere. It seems like even Alvarez behind the plate, young upcoming future star, saw that on the Topps cards last year. He's pretty good. I mean, even their catcher can hit a little bit. I mean, everyone falls into slumps, and you can expect that with a catcher. But I mean, everywhere around the diamond, it seems like they're pretty good. I mean, even their 4-hole last year, Mark Vientos, to me, he was a no-name until last year, and he turned out to be a really good player for them. So they found guys out of nowhere, and they signed some really big names, and that lineup is deep.
The lineup's deep. So speaking to the bench, this is what Fangraphs has listed: Luis Torrens, I'm going to say it wrong because I'm going to say it very white. Luis Angel, Acuna's little brother.
Never heard of him.
What? He came up last year. I thought there was big talk in the fantasy baseball world about that. Maybe I'm mistaken. But it's Ronald Acuna's little brother. I feel like he played pretty well at the end of the year. I don't have the stats on hand. Starling Marte, who's going to platoon for Winker, and then Tyrone Taylor. Those are the 4 bench bats they have listed. And this rotation, Seth.
That's my only question with the Mets is how's their rotation going to round out? Go ahead and fill me in, Dylan.
This is going to sound silly. Yeah, I'll fill you in. We have Kodai Senga as the number 1 starter. David Peterson is 2. He put up some good numbers last year. 3, Clay Holmes. Ugh, yikes. 4, Paul Blackburn. 5, Griffin Canning. Canning's a guy, he should not be on an MLB roster, especially as a starter. My issue here is, go ahead.
Where does Sean Manaea fit into that?
Oh my gosh.
They re-signed Sean Manaea, and that I don't know how old Fangraphs is or if they haven't updated it yet, but since the re-signing of Sean Manaea, man, You want to talk about a season he had last year? I would question that he's probably above Clay Holmes in that 3 slot. That makes sense to me.
You would have to bump Canning. You would just have to. But Manaea, yeah. I think he got some injury in spring training, right oblique strain, likely to miss opening day. Yeah, so he's not going to be. That's why this wasn't showing him, is because he's going to be missing some time. I'm guessing that's why they signed Canning, because they knew that was coming. But and even so, I don't know why you want Canning sniffing valuable innings. I guess maybe you can argue there's not very many valuable innings in March and April. Maybe that's their thought. But the bullpen, not bad. Edwin Diaz as a closer he's had his fair share of issues. AJ Minter comes in. You got Jose Buto, Ryan Stanek, Tyler McGill. Like, good bullpen there, but that starting pitching is a huge worry for me personally. The lineup is stacked. I think the little Acuna's brother, he's poised for a big year if he gets the at-bats. Marte's kind of old, but he's got some speed left in him. Kodai Senga, my issue with him, he's supposed to be the highlight of this rotation as of right now. And this might be small brain Dylan breaking out, but I think of players as their MLB The Show cards. And Kodai Senga, he's just a walk machine. That walk to 9 number was never any good on that card. And I think in 2023, 11% walk rate, he got that down in 24, although limited innings. I think he got it down to 4 or 5%. If he can keep the walks down, he's not a bad pitcher. The lineup, man, does. If they could just find themselves in contention around the All-Star break, go get an arm in that starting rotation, they could make a run. Do you have any comments about the Mets before we go win total?
Hit me with the win total.
90.5. It's a lot.
Hammer the
a lot
over.
Of wins.
Hammer
really?
the over. Hammer it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over 2. I've already done 2 under, so I'm gonna go over. I don't love it, but I'm gonna go over for the Mets.
90
That's
wins.
A lot of wins, Seth. That's a lot of wins.
Listen, dude, there's like 8 teams that have just collected all the good players. You got to think that's 22 teams that don't have a Juan Soto.
That's true. That's very true. I guess
Juan Soto helped carry the Yankees to however many wins they had last year. Otherwise, it would have just. We'll talk about the AL East later. Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about the AL East later.